at the Roadmender in Northampton, and I'm here with Cody Pennington. He's been on the UK tour, and we managed to grab his time for a few minutes just so we can have a chat about his UK tour and everything he's experiencing here in the UK. Cody, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
How's the tour been going so far?
Amazing. One of our best selling tours to date. Yeah, it's been amazing. Incredible. Biggest crowds, biggest venues. It's insane.
I wanted to touch on that because it was 2022 you came over and you sold, roughly 5,000 tickets,
Something like that.
and it was, it's still a good tour, but this is like what 25 plus sold out shows. It's 20,000, should I say? So over 20,000 tickets.
Well, I think we're over 20. We're closer to 25 now. Actually, 25,000. Yeah, we the way I describe it now is we sold out the O2 Arena essentially, and that's just in the UK alone. Just for 2025. Yeah, so it's been insane. I mean, it seems like you say, the 5,000 tickets, that's kind of how all of our tours seem to start. We did Australia recently and sold around that as well. We sold that almost about that in Europe as well. So it seems like everything starts there and just goes up. It's crazy.
Now, I did want to touch on your kind of British audience and kind of how that's going, especially in Australia as well. But I wanted to just jump quickly back to the start. I mean, you've probably spoken about this a million times before, but obviously Nashville, growing up in, was it East Nashville that you grew up in?
Yeah.
And being obviously surrounded in the heart of kind of country music.
Yeah.
Did that have obviously a direct impact, or did you find that your experiences outside of Nashville is what kind of shaped you as an artist?
A bit of both. My experience wasn't growing up on like Broadway in Nashville because you gotta be 21 to get into the bars down there. So it wasn't really my big experience growing up in like the honky tonks and stuff like that. My experience was more my family members playing music. My uncle was a huge influence on me. He played country music and didn't really have a career, but he was an incredible singer and player and stuff. And growing up around that, because he lived with us, my grandparents, and it was like just a whole musical house, kind of. It was really nice, and that kind of shaped me. But I didn't really start professionally performing. I was writing then, but I didn't start professionally performing until I joined the military and left Nashville, funny enough. And that's when I started touring the world, and I really started playing my first shows. My very first real professional shows were in Turkey when I was in the military. And we would go off base after when a buddy and I played, he played keys and I played guitar and sang. And we went out just out in the middle of nowhere in this tiny little Turkish town. And then we just show up at a cafe and play them some music. And that's how it started, really. And then I, found country music later.
So that the almost the family environment of music kind of laid the foundations to build on. I mean, you can actually hear that in your music. That I do want to ask about the military aspects of combat, because you can actually hear that sound coming through, and it's a little bit more. I don't want to say intimate in your songwriting and stuff like that, but it feels a little bit more connected to your audience, but in a different way to your most Nashville artists. They sing about certain things, but yours seems to be a slight step away, which is a little bit more honest. I think that's why it's resonating with the UK audience a lot as well.
Yeah, I mean, I based my songwriting. I grew up. I mean, one of my favorite artists growing up was John Mayer, and I loved his Americana stuff and stuff like that, and his storytelling, the way that they did storytelling, and the folk aspect. And I always kind of lean that way with my songwriting. I'm mixing it up quite a bit nowadays, trying to do more, modern stuff than that, because I love that stuff too. But what I've done historically has always been, real storytelling stuff. I feel like that kind of lends itself to a more of a story angle type of writing that's more personal. And like you say, it seems like the UK country artists, although they've been country music fans for years now, it seems like it's still in its infancy, and they love that fresh style of the songwriting, which I think is really important to the genre.
And I think it's almost like an oversaturation as pop nip that has kind of flooded the market, and they're not interested in the past the kind of story anymore. They want to hear true, honest, emotional stories. You need song more eloquently and better than they could ever do.
It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I know that your music seems like the UK music scene has been a lot of EDM, a lot of pop, and all that kind of stuff, and that's just almost every music scene. But the country aspect, I feel like you say, it goes to this personal aspect that everyone can relate to, and it's almost like it's also age range. It's independent of age range. So you can be a young listener listening to country. You can be older listening to country, and you can equally hit it. You get it as an equal measure, as opposed to EDM, which might favor younger people or things like that. I feel like it's such a universal type of writing, and that's why it's stood the test of time. Yeah.
Yeah, and it can connect with people worldwide, which is obviously why it's resonating with people in Australia as well as well as here. I mean, obviously, country and Americana and folk is kind of is booming. Over the last 20 years, it's kind of increased more in its popularity. I think it is because of that. But let's talk about your music. Obviously, you're working on future collaborations, albums, EP coming on. How have you rolled your experiences on the road, or have you kind of used prior experiences to kind of craft that, or is it a little bit of combination of the both? They call it the California album. You know, when a band moves to California, all they sing about is California.
Oh, right.
So if you're on the road for a long time, do you just are you starting to find yourself writing about your experiences on the road, or are you still writing experiences true to life and the everyday man?
I think a mixture of both, really. I find a topic of a song that I really like, and I write it. And I think if it comes out as a good song, I like it, you know. But I do keep things personal as well. I like to keep things personal, because that is the most relatable bit, I suppose. But then there's also times where I just want to sing about having fun. Yeah, sometimes people just want to have fun. They want to listen to a song. Sometimes they want that emotional impact, and sometimes they just want to have a good time. And I like to go in between the two. And my travels have definitely influenced both of those because I've experienced so much on the road now. It's been insane. So it's definitely coloring, but I wouldn't say that it's going too far away from what I've already done. But it's all kind of, it's all relative in a way. It all kind of comes together into something really cool within in the end of it. Yeah.
Would you see these as emotional almost like chapters in your life and your growth?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, somewhat. Yeah, I'd say the music definitely changes as I grow and as the the gigs get bigger. The music has changed ever so slightly, but I still think there's enough of me in there to be to be Cody Pennington.
And obviously, you're Scoop. Yeah, you're selling out the O2 and you're playing bigger and bigger.
I'm not selling out the O2 technically, but we are selling enough tickets to sell at the O2.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but you fade up and down the country selling out venues and stuff, and obviously those venues are getting bigger and bigger. But do you still find the experience of kind of like playing to a more intimate stage? Once you step on that big stage, is that going to be it? Or are we going to see you do arena tours in the future and then stepping into a
yeah? I mean, well, we are already looking at arenas. So we're already yeah, we're looking at arenas, and we're discussing something else. We were up to about 3 a.m. last night discussing another business venture we're looking into that's seems to not be being done at the moment, and we're gonna try to nail it. We'll see what happens, and that'll probably be a UK thing that goes really big. But we'll see what happens. We no promises, but definitely it's like you can't go back now. The gigs just keep getting bigger, and so we can't go back. And I miss the smaller stuff sometimes, but the gigs, like we were in Manchester last night in front of 1,700 odd people. You can't mute it. It's such a cool electric feel as well.
Yeah. Just seeing the footage and shots and stuff from your gigs over this tour, in the crowd and the audience and stuff, connecting them and all those people around you. That must be like I finally made this kind of step from dreaming about this and then finally doing it.
You know what? It's so much hard work in the back end because we do everything ourselves. We don't have the label management or anything like that. So it's it's all day emails and everything, constant work. And then you get to the gig and you've done all this. You've pretty much done a year's worth of work for every single gig. And you get there and it's almost hard to kind of step back and say, okay, this is the part that you're meant to enjoy and absorb. But sometimes it's hard to get into that mindset, and sometimes the gigs are just so electric. They're like, this is what it's all about, but this is it. You can't beat it. So it's amazing, man. It's the best job I've ever had.
It's definitely a great job to watch from our point of view. But just talking about you obviously being an independent artist and kind of crafting this yourself. Obviously, in the current popularity and stuff, you've got a lot of other genre artists, megastars, are suddenly making the switch to Americana and stuff like that. And to a lot of fans, it doesn't feel like they've kind of earned kind of step over, whereas yourself have kind of come from sort of humble backgrounds who kind of literally played your way to the stage.
Yeah.
Do you kind of how do you feel about that?
I don't mind it. I think me specifically, I do things completely different than anybody else, and I think if anybody has to do something different to make it in this business, more power to them. It's a hard business. It's hard to get people to notice. It's hard to get a leg up. It's hard to get support. It's hard to sell out shows, hard to write music, record music, and release music. It's a hard business. And if you have to do things a different way, then do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I think people switching over to do certain things and all this kind of stuff, I don't want. I mean, there's enough success to go around. As long as people, if they're independent, it's more work. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
I know I've done it. It's really difficult, but you can do it. You know, it's possible. Just do your thing. Don't worry about anybody else and what they're doing. Just do your thing and see how people relate to that. And if they relate to it, that's all you need. You know, you don't need to be the person who's in the headlines or whatever. You just need to be the one who's entertaining the crowd on the night.
It's all about authenticity, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's keeping it,
Yeah.
saying you brought it around. But so we'll no future collaborations with
Sabrina Carpenter, please.
Yeah.
No. No. I don't collaborate much at the moment, but you know, who knows? I'm just now getting into some more music, and we're starting to roll out a lot more music now, where it's going to be every few months something gets released, as we're trying to match the whole Nashville model, which is very difficult to do as an independent artist. They have quite a lot of stuff behind them, and big recording houses just constantly churning things out. But we're doing our best to keep up, and so I'll be doing more music, but no collabs right now. But if T Swift is available, like maybe if she's a reader, like that'd be awesome. Or if she watches,
there'll be the contest. Get you at the Grand Opry next year when they kind of
we'll see, man. It's almost like it'd be cool, like a homecoming. We'll see what happens. I'd love it. A lot of my friends have played the Opry, so it'd be cool if I can get there. Yeah.
Now, obviously, you mentioned Australia. So, what's the next steps after that? Is it after the Australian tour? Are you going to go home and kind of finish the album, or are you going to finish that while?
Well, we're concentrating more on singles at the moment. I have a really cool idea for an album, but it's going to take quite a lot of work, and I'm working on it. But it's at the same time we're working on singles with pretty intense. So we are working on it. But after Australia, we've got more dates that I can't announce just yet. That'll be announced. We've got some more international dates. We're looking at Canada as well. I'd like to go back to the U.S., but there's just so many people playing in the U.S., and I just find it fun to go outside the U.S. It's fun, you know. It's cool to go across the pond and just to see the crowds that are being built over here. But we'll see what happens. We've got ideas in America as well, and then obviously the other venture I was saying. But we'll see what happens. I don't. There's honestly, we're never not working. We are always doing something, planning a tour and writing music. Always, it's never ending.
Well, you can see that just from your socials and the way you kind of talk to your fans and stuff like that. It seems you never stop.
No, I need a breath, but I can't take it yet.
Well, thanks for taking a moment to kind of talk to us and kind of about your kind of EP tour, and from the buzz that we've been seeing on this tour. Hopefully next year when we see it, or whatever that. Big idea, whatever happens, you're going to be 10 times bigger than this one, and that's going to be a big one to beat anyway.
Yeah, it'd be amazing, and I hope to see you there.
Yeah, Cody, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. All right.